A Place in My Dreams is the final mission for the Age of Mythology campaign, and it's meant to be the hardest and longest mission, where you get gifts from your Norse and Egyptian allies to help take down the living statue of Poseidon. But what is the fastest way to beat it? If done right, we can beat A Place in My Dreams in around 11 minutes on the hardest difficulty. Here's how if you want to do it yourself. The first and most important part of the speedrun comes right at the start. You need to spam out villagers while the cutscene is running. There's a very small window for doing this, but hitting the town centre and villager hotkey repeatedly seems to do the trick most of the time. The timer set by speedrun.com states that the time doesn't start until the cutscene ends, so you're basically getting all these villagers for free. Just make sure your hotkey for the town centre or villagers isn't something that can stop the cutscene. I normally have my hotkey for the town centre as spacebar, but had to change it to something else just for this. You also have to wait for the noise where you can't build any more units. That's the right noise. And where it pops up saying you need more houses or town centres. As soon as the cutscene ends, get the villagers to food as soon as possible, as they'll just be chilling by the town centre. From there, send new villagers over to food, and when you've got around 11 or 12, start sending them to gold, because we'll need to advance through the ages as quick as possible. Next, you want to send all your units to get the nearest plenty vault, and take one villager with you, because they'll need to build a wall so the enemy doesn't sneak it back. The mountain giants do huge damage to buildings with their special attack, so make sure that you get one on each watchtower. Losing units here isn't a big deal, because your population is at 65, and if you don't lose any units, you won't be able to build enough villagers. So if the fortress kills some, or the colossus kills some, it's really not a big deal. From my experience, you want to make sure that you have Arkantos still, and a Valkyrie, and maybe a couple of myth units, and that's it. Anything else is a bonus. Bring your squad back home, the same one villager, to wall in your base from the top, as the enemy likes to come through here. And once you've walled this off, they'll normally walk the way around and hit your green ally first. So what you want to do is send all your troops that you've got left over to your green ally so you can defend him for as long as possible. There's an invisible healing spring, which is a good place to leave your units. And if you have the Valkyrie from earlier, they should always be at full health. When the units start walking back, that's a good time to build your armory with just one villager. And once that's up, advance to the heroic age through Apollo, because we'll be needing this underworld passage for later. As soon as you click advance, move some villagers over to wood, around 4 or 5 should do, just so we can get a market straight away, and then send all your new villagers over to gold. As soon as you have enough for a market, put that market down and move those wood villagers over to gold as well. The reason we want so much gold is so we can buy and sell our way to the mythic age, just to get that second plenty vault down as soon as you can. Once advanced, split your villagers as evenly as you can between food, wood and gold to aim for 1,000 each for the wonder. There might not be enough food to do this, so put all the excess on gold because you can buy your missing resources later. Use the buy and sell feature to get the wonder. A good place to do this is by your town centre on the Egyptian side, so if some units are chasing after you, at least they'll have to go through some defences first. And it's a good idea to have it close to your town centre, as your new villagers will go straight on there. There's no need to leave villagers and any resources, just use them all for the wonder, as you'll get enough food from your 2 plenty vaults to continuously make villagers. At this point you'll get a Son of Osiris, but unfortunately he can't empower the wonder or drop off sites, which is kind of frustrating. The last thing to do is underworld your overpowered Arkantos to the final objective. When you're about 9,700 built on the wonder, you should drop your underworld passage. Quickly use the bolt and restoration if you've got it. You need to do this because once the wonder has finished and you get your blessing from the gods, it removes all other god powers. So you definitely want to make sure you've used your underworld before this, and the bolt just does an extra chunk of damage to the final objective. All that's left after that is to click Arkantos on the living statue of Poseidon and wait for the game to finish. And there we go. We've beat the hardest mission in the game in around 11 minutes. I recently got the world record for this, and I've linked the full video down below if you want to see the whole speedrun. If you try this out, let me know how you got on, and if you want any more tips of how to speedrun some of the missions. See you in the next one.